Welcome to this video. Today I want to cover the topic of progress. Okay, imagine there's a seed, a seed of whatever plant. Let's say a beautiful flower. And you want a beautiful flower, so you make the soil ready, you wet the ground, and then you plant the seed. And then the seed grows. And then you give it more water and it grows. You give it more water and it grows. And then you have a beautiful flower. It's also like this with most of the things in life. Some things are not meant for us, but some things are. And I think we're missing out on a lot of opportunities because we don't let the seed grow. That in first place, because if you place the seed, it will need time to grow, and sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's only a minute, sometimes it's only an hour, and sometimes it's 10 days, sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 2 months, sometimes it's 4 months. But with most things, if you give it time, it will blossom. It will grow into the flower that you want, that you desire, that you know? So, if you don't see the growth immediately, just wait. Because maybe that flower just needs more time, You never know. You never know if the flower just needs more time. Because it can also seem like, it's not meant for you. But maybe it needs more time. Maybe that's the only thing. It just needs more time. And also, what I think, if the flower doesn't grow, you're gonna feed it, you're gonna bring it more water. But if you put too much water, the flower will also drown. So that's also not what you want to do. You don't want to drown the flower. You just want to put the right amount, and let's symbolize the water. The water is kind of like how your mental health is doing with it. If you put a little water, your mental health is fine. But if you put too much water, your mental health is not fine. Let's see it as that. And wait for it to grow. Don't overfeed it. And also, I think that we give up on the flower too much. On the flowers around us. I think we give up too much too quickly. Because the flower needs time to grow. And you may want it now, or like within a week. You just want to put a time limit on it. In this amount of time I am gonna need this. But then you don't give the flower space. And if you stop giving the flower water, if you just stop all of it, it may grow a little bit longer. But it will never blossom into the flower that you once wanted it to be. It will not blossom. Simply because you gave up. You didn't want to bring it any more water. You didn't want to put a little effort in it. And then the flower cannot grow because you simply don't give it the conditions to grow. So give it the conditions to grow. And wait. Give it time to unfold. Don't be desperate, Don't chase it. A of course, you of course put effort into it. I'm not saying don't put any effort into it, or just like put a little bit and then just wait. No, work as hard as you can, but as hard as is good for you. You know? Don't overwork. As I said, the water, don't drown it. Because if you drown it, like, let's see it as you wanted to start a business in clothes, and you got a lot of shirts, a lot of pants, and you got, I don't know how it's called actually, but like that's how you print the images onto the shirts or pants, clothes. Yeah. And you invested a lot of money. And you put all your effort into it, but you didn't give it time to grow. You didn't give it time to unfold. You just did it. But you're overworking yourself. You're putting too much of your mental health, too much of your water into it. And that way you become stressed. You have put so many into it, so you cannot afford it to fail. You cannot afford it. So you simply must put the work in, and you cannot take a step back. You cannot, because you spent so much of your money into it. You already spent so much of your time. You cannot take it back, because it's already in there, and otherwise you will lose a lot of money if you don't get it out of it again. And that's when you're gonna drown your plan. That's where it's gonna fail. You know? Because, of course, the business could still thrive, because you have put so many time and effort into it. But you are not gonna thrive. You are gonna fail. Simply because you didn't give it time and you gave it too much of your precious water. You will lose. Not the business, you will lose. That's not what we want. And that's why it's important to view where you are now. And let's take the clothing brand for an example. Hire somebody for you that will print onto the shirts, and that way, or clothes, that way it's a lot cheaper in the beginning. You know, in the end, of course, if you have all the supplies on your own, it's cheaper in the end, but you don't even know if it's gonna work out. It's just, you're gonna try it, and you're gonna get there, but you don't know if this is the right way, and all this. It's still new, so you gotta start somewhere. You gotta build up your clients. You gotta build up, not clients, customers. You're gonna build up all of these things, and you're not there yet to do those big steps. And maybe when you hire a person to get all the images on the shirts, then you realize that it's not meant for you. That could also be a thing. But if you give it too much of your water too early, if you're then in that situation and it's not for you, you can't take a step back. Or you will lose a lot of money, because of course you can always go back. Literally always. Even when you're kidnapped and in the basement. Yes, you can. Because it's how you react to situations. You can always take a step back. You cannot always take a step back from everything, but you can take certain steps back. Like, for example, I want my inner peace there at all times. Like all times. Doesn't matter how stressful the situation is, I'm working on my inner peace. And at that moment, I'm probably super scared because I don't know where I am. I don't know anything. I don't know what this person wants. I don't know anything. So I'm probably super scared. And I can do a step back from... Well, no, that's not really a step back, actually. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because I took steps in creating my anxiety. Because before I was kidnapped, I didn't have anxiety. Because I wanted peace, and I got peace. I had a situation where I could be at peace. And then I took steps, unknowingly, but I did take steps, into anxiety. And I can take a step back. At that moment, I'm probably not able to do more than that. But you can always take steps back. Always. You know, and you can make plans. Like if you're in a basement, how are you planning to try to get out? Look, if you don't try to get out of the basement, you probably won't get out of the basement. Nobody is coming to save you. You know? Because people probably don't know where you are. No one is coming to save you. See that in your life as well. No one is coming to save you. You need to save yourself. 24/7, how many times you can think of a plan to escape, think of it. You know? Also in that, don't let it drain you. Don't, ever. Doesn't matter in how much of a stressful situation you are. Don't let something drain you. You know? Don't. Because staying in the basement is better than, in the end, staying in the basement and being depressed. Isn't it? Because you want to be able to think of a way to get out. But if you're so depressed, you're not gonna be able to think that. You're just gonna be able to think negative and like, when is it all gonna end? But that's not what we want. We don't want to drain. Do we? No. We don't want to drain, so we're not gonna do that. Give it time to grow and unfold. Don't give too much of your water too early. And don't let it dry out. And then see what happens. You never know if it's gonna work out. No, you don't. But if you don't give it the time, if you give it no time limit, like it needs to be done in like a week or a year or whatever, then probably it will unfold. It will unfold. And of course, I cannot say if you're gonna like it. You can't either. But if you keep putting the water into it, the right amount of water, and you don't let it dry, you don't drown it, then the most chances are that the flower will survive and grow into a beautiful flower. Of course, some fail. Of course, some don't make it for whatever reason. Of course. But if you don't try, it will not unfold. If you leave the flower without any water, it will die. It will die. But that's because of your decision to not give it any water anymore. You don't give it any conditions to grow. You don't. And that's on you. I'm sorry to break it to you, but that's on you. You gotta give it time and enough water. Yeah? One step at a time. If you want to be at 1,000 steps, if you take one step at a time, eventually you get there. You know? It will all unfold. It will all be okay. Yeah? Okay, so that's why it's important